Emily from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Tuesday, October 19th. So today we do have the moon in Aries all day. We are building towards the full moon peak tomorrow, and we are definitely going to be feeling the energy rise, the emotions intensify, the irritability, the frustration, the anger rise to the surface because we are reaching a breaking point. We are reaching a point where we have to release this tension, release this energy. And of course, that is what the full moon in Aries is going to provide us with. So we have 10 different aspects taking place today, and 7 of them involve the moon. We get a little bit testy right out of the day because the moon is going to conjunct, sit next to Chiron, the wounded healer. This is a huge activation of our intense feelings, our intense emotions. This is really going to put us in a position to be very aware of our triggers, of our upsets, of our wounds that are still wide open and very vulnerable to outside influences. This has to happen. We have to be very aware of what it is that hurts our feelings, that's causing us frustration, irritability, that's triggering us, that's showing us where our anger is still alive and well. We have to use our emotions as a roadmap to our healing. And because the full moon typically illuminates where it is that new information, new details, new emotions are coming to the surface based off of course, our frustrations with the obstacles, with the challenges that we've been facing since the new moon. We have to be aware of where it is that we are feeling vulnerable. We are feeling angry. We are feeling highly emotional. The moon is going to go ahead and sit across from, opposing Mercury. Now, Mercury is still waking up from the retrograde. It is direct. It is going to take some time in order for him to be fully aware of what is going on. Now, the moon in Aries is very fiery anyways. We're very bold. We're very courageous. And let me tell you, with this opposition with Mercury, you're sitting across the table. You have a lot to say. You're waiting for someone to kind of pay attention in order for you to clear the air. Many of us have had a lot of situations arise while Mercury was retrograde, where it is that we were illuminated to, unfair energy exchanges in our personal relationships, where we haven't been treated fairly, where it is that we need to advocate for ourselves, where it is we need to speak up, where it is we need to tell our truth and tell our story. And the moon in Aries is all about that because we are just loud, we are proud, we are aggressive, we are passionate, we have no want, need, or desire to play it safe. We just want to go balls to the walls, throw everything we got at something and see what happens. Mercury, of course, the ruler of the mental plane and ruling over our communication, is in people-pleasing Libra. And because we are in the last week of Libra season, this is a real good push in order for us to vocalize what needs to be said, in order for us to make actions to actually stabilize our personal relationships, to be heard, to be validated, to get everything that we have kept inside of us out into the real world to see how people are actually going to respond to us. But let me tell you, fire and air, if controlled, is a beautiful campfire, a beautiful controlled flame. If there is too much air or oxygen, again, coming from Mercury in Libra, too many thoughts, too much speaking, too much pressure to actually clear the air, you're going to see a very large fire grow. Now, this could be a good thing if we have a grip on our emotions and on our divine plan, what needs to happen right now in order to, set us up for the new goals, the new visions that we've been looking to manifest. This could be a good thing, or it could be a damn near forest fire. So we have to be very careful, controlling our emotions, controlling our mouth, getting our heart and our head on the same page, and recognizing that there are serious consequences from just opening your mouth and letting things flow without a filter. The sun is going to make a very beautiful aspect with the true node. Now, let me tell you, the sun is in Libra trying to wrap up the life lessons that Libra season was trying to teach us, which of course revolves around love and peace and balance and harmony and justice and fairness. But of course, we have been illuminated over the last 3 to 4 weeks of where none of that exists in our lives. We have to learn how to find balance. We have to learn how to find a center point by exploring the extremes. Many of us have been thrown into the extremes in order to see in our lives where we crave all of these lovely topics and themes that Libra season is supposed to bless us with, and where it is that we need to take major action in order to reorganize, restructure our lives, our relationship dynamics, in order to actually find a safe, stable grounding point. The fact that the sun is harmonizing with the true node, of course, is trying to remind us of our future dreams, our future visions, our future goals, and really just give us a beautiful perspective on why it is that we need to fight so hard for what it is that we know that we deserve. And again, the sun is our life force. It's what demands the most attention right now. And bumping into the true node, we have a lot of balancing acts to do in order to restore the peace, the harmony, the love, the fairness in our lives in order to actually align with the future vision, the future dream that we are actively trying to manifest. The moon goes ahead and trines with Venus. So Venus, of course, the goddess of love and beauty and pleasure and the ruler over Libra season that is coming to an end. She is in Sagittarius right now, really on a quest for truth, really trying to break free from some of the restraints, some of the challenges and obstacles that we've been facing. She just wants to have fun. She just wants to be kind of fun and fancy free. She doesn't really want to commit to anything. And the moon in Aries is all about this, because the moon in Aries is the individual, the ego. What do I want? What do I need? What do I desire? What do I deserve? What am I passionate about? What am I aggressively trying to pursue? This is very much us trying to identify what it is that we want, need, and desire for ourselves. You know, Libra season has us focused on, okay, how can we cooperate? How can we compromise? How, you know, in our personal relationships, how can I do what is right for me and still do what is right for us? Well, this particular aspect is going to put a huge emphasis on trying to abandon what is good for other people for just a sec, to see how far away we are from honoring ourselves. We got to get a grip. We have to identify what we're passionate about, what our desires are, what we deserve, in order to find a middle ground, a fairness point in our personal relationships, so that we are maintaining our individuality while being a part of something bigger, a part of a group, a part of a partnership, a part of a community, a unit. The moon is going to provide us with a huge opportunity to shift our perspective for just a second, because the moon goes ahead and bumps into Uranus. Uranus is the great awakener. He is retrograde in Tauran energy. He is trying to illuminate for us where it is we need a wake up and a shake up, especially in our personal relationships, especially in our money matters, how it is that we're using our skills, our talents, our expertise and knowledge in order to create an income. Many of us are really reconsidering what it is that we're doing for a living right now. We have pressurized energies putting us in a different position where we might have to open our mind to having multiple streams of income just to get through this little hump. We are recognizing new values and worths within ourselves, within our life, and we now have to reorganize and restructure our lives, detaching from the stability of the old resources in order to open our hearts, open our minds up to maybe being a little bit more individualized and going out on our own, creating our own side hustle, creating our own business, bringing our skills, talents, and wisdom to the forefront that, of course, the collective is asking for at this time. The moon in Aries, though, is going to provide this beautiful, bold, courageous energy where we're actually excited about detaching from these old systems, these old structures, these old routines, these old jobs, these old ways of doing things in order to actually initiate and experience something new. This is going to likely come through disruption, an outside trigger, delay, a detour in our plans, in our, physical realms, in our situations, that has a beautiful opportunity for growth, for healing once we get over the initial shock, the initial fear that comes with major change. The moon is going to make a semi-square to the true node, which is going to apply a little bit of tension and pressure, because the moon in Aries definitely just wants to take action and have new experiences. The moon in Aries puts us in a position where we are not really willing to look back. We're just coming out of all these retrogrades. We're kind of done with rehashing the past. If anything, we are quite content to stand in this present moment, to take control, to take action on what it is we actually have control over in this moment. And the moon in Aries making this little bit of a tension point with the true node is kind of illuminating for us where maybe we're not desiring our future vision, our future dream, the way that we once did. Maybe we're not excited about a particular element. Of course, with the change and the shake-up and the wake-ups going on, we have to kind of re-edit our plans. And I mean, that's what retrograde season was all about, was really us reflecting on our plans, on, what it is that our dreams and visions were inspiring us to do. And we've had a lot thrown at us that are going to change the course of our energy, time, focus, direction, in order to see a brand new path emerge where, we might just get to our end goal a lot quicker, a lot more easier, if we were just to recognize what it is we're no longer desiring, whatever it is that we're no longer inspired to pursue. The moon in Aries goes ahead and bumps into Saturn, the Lord of Karma, who, yes, is direct, but still not moving forward yet. He's just kind of in a state of paralysis, laying in bed, staring at the ceiling, trying to remember all the dreams, all the clues, all the hints, all the highlights that came to him while he was in retrograde since the spring. And he's not quite ready to get out of bed yet. He's just kind of trying to get his bearings where he is in the present moment. He's, trying to pick up on his environment and the subtle hints, the subtle cues that he can hear in his environment, but not quite ready to get out of bed just yet. The moon in Aries bumping into Saturn, who now is direct in Aquarian energy. This is more about really redefining what it is that we're excited about, what it is we're passionate about, where it is we want new experiences, especially in a futuristic realm. Saturn in Aquarius is very futuristic. And there's a conflict there because Saturn typically is very traditional, would rather stick to what is tried, tested, and true. But of course, in the Aquarian energy, that's the visionary energy. We have to think long term. We have to think futuristically. We have to push the boundaries of our old narratives. We have to push the boundaries of what we think is actually possible. And now that Jupiter is direct, kind of, renewing our faith, our hope, our optimism in what is actually possible. This is going to be a beautiful aha moment for us to see and redefine what it is that actually gets our hearts thumping, actually makes us excited and passionate, and really setting ourselves up for new desires to actually pursue. Venus is going to go ahead and make an aspect with Uranus. And I'm going to tell you, this is probably not a pleasant situation. Basically, this is a learning opportunity coming from our external realms, likely from our personal relationships, because of course Venus is involved. She's all about, love and worth and money and future planning. And Uranus, as you know, is the great awakener, trying to really open us up to a new perspective, a new idea, a new shift in thinking. And this particular energy, the way that these two are kind of bumping into each other and interacting, suggests that there's going to be an external situation take place. So something's happening outside of us, again, likely coming from a person of value, a person of worth in our personal relationships. And this is a disruption to us. This is a truth emerging. This is a perspective emerging. Maybe it's seeing someone that you love in a different light by the way that they're acting, the way that they're speaking, maybe their behavior or, their current goals. Whatever the case may be, something shifts for us and it doesn't feel good. And it's something that we can't unknow. And what happens even more here is that disappointment sets in, disgust sets in, we're kind of dismayed at the external events going on in our realms right now, especially with particular individual people. But instead of reacting out of ego, we take a moment to act as the observer and just see that maybe things are happening as they are happening in order to reroute us, kind of redirect us in a different way. And again, once we have situations, especially when people start showing their true colors, we can't look at them the same anymore. And sometimes we need that to happen in order to recognize that we've been pouring too much into a vision, into a dream that we are trying to pray for and manifest that involve people that shouldn't be a part of the next phase of our lives, especially in the capacity in which they're currently showing up. So I feel like this might be a downer, this might be a disappointment, this might be a moment of disgust, but it is going to shift our mental plane, our perspective onto a brand new way of thinking, a brand new way of seeing people, places, things unfold as they are unfolding in order for us to get a grip and maybe rewrite the script on what it is that we're actually planning for in a futuristic manifestation. Now, the sun is going to go ahead. This is a beautiful energy, especially after this little upset, a little bit of a disappointment here. The sun is going to harmonize with Neptune. Now, the sun, again, is in Libra, trying to shine a huge light on where it is that we need to start doing things that we love, where it is that we need more balance in our lives, where it is that we need to restore the energy exchange, the fairness level in our personal relationships. It's all about, finding peace and harmony within ourselves, within our relationships, within our exterior realm, even if it's stormy outside. We don't want to let external situations totally throw us off our game. And I feel like because Venus just bumped into Uranus in this, way where it's kind of showing us people's true intentions, people's true colors, and it puts a little bit of a damper on who it is that we thought that they were and the role that we thought that they were going to play in our future visions and our future dreams, we're a little bit down, right? So the sun in Libra is trying to illuminate, especially harmonizing with Neptune. Neptune, of course, is our dreams. It's our intuition. It is our soul contracts. It is our karma. It is where we are connected to a higher intelligence. It is where we recognize, the reason for all of our interactions because we signed up to have an experience that involves other people. And because we just had this kind of semi-disturbing, shift in perspective on how we're seeing certain people and the roles in our lives of what it is that we thought that they were going to play, I feel like this is a huge illumination on understanding the soul contract at play. And most times when we're trying to make sense of other people's behavior, we, tend to take it a little bit personally when we need to realize that everything is divinely scripted for our experience, for our best, highest self-expression. And sometimes we need to go through painful experiences, especially realizing that the people that we really poured a lot of love and value in aren't really worth that value, aren't really worth that energy. And that's really sad. It's very disappointing, but better to know it now instead of getting to the end goal, the end dream, the end vision when you're supposed to be happy and then having this, bitch slap of reality come on to you then. And then you can't undo all of the efforts in which you have been trying to make happen. So it is a bittersweet pill to swallow, but I feel like at this particular stage of the game, it's better to know what it is that you're working with, who it is that you're working with, see people for who it is that they are instead of who it is that we want to be. And it can be very overwhelming, but we have a gut feeling. We have our intuition trying to guide us to something bigger, to something better. And unfortunately, the universe tends to kind of destroy the people, places, and things that we are overly attached to and clear that space out in our lives in order for the new things, the better things to actually be able to manifest. Lastly, we have the moon making an aspect with Neptune right after the sun makes a beautiful aspect with Neptune. The moon is like, I don't think I'm going to make the greatest aspect with Neptune. I don't think this is going to be a good conversation, but I'm going to do it anyways. Basically, the moon in Aries bumps into Neptune in a very high frictional intensity. And the moon in Aries is kind of hot and bothered by all the revelations and realizations that we've just been exposed to and has a lot to say about it. And let me tell you, this could manifest in some not so good energy. Neptune here has the tendency in a negative aspect, especially when being confronted in a not so good position, to take on the victim mentality, to want to escape reality and live in la la land, to basically check out altogether and create more of a kerfuffle by being in a state of paralysis and unacceptedness and unacknowledgement than anything else. And I feel like the moon right now, after having these realizations, wants to kind of express itself. We want to speak out on it. We want to be frustrated. We want to get that out. But I feel like Neptune is kind of applying a pressure to us, saying, okay, just go to bed, just sleep on it. Just, don't act on it. Don't express it right now. You need some more time for it to integrate, for it to make sense. Like, just take a chill pill. And many of us aren't going to be able to do that. We're revving too high in this full moon energy. We're revving too high with the boldness, with the edginess, with the aggression that the moon in Aries brings us. And we're going to want to act out on it. And let me just tell you, the moon in Aries, if we act out without thinking about the long-term consequences and the mess that we're potentially going to make, we are going to have a little bit of drama unfold, and we are going to have a mess to clean up. So going into the day, recognizing that there's ups and downs and there's realizations and there's, learning lessons and soul contract, crossroads, all this kind of stuff, you have to be very cognizant that these energies are going to push you to a breaking point, to a boiling point where you just want to explode. And although the right thing for us to do is to take a chill pill and go to sleep and kind of like sit on it for a little bit, many of us are not going to be able to do that. And again, we have this full moon energy just kind of provoking us at this point, and that could lead for some very, very messy emotional projections.